Stop video capture.
Hi everybody, my name is Ollie Cantos and I'd like to start by thanking you for stopping by to get to know me and to learn more about who I am. I don't often talk about my direct story online. Uh, I've talked about it in the past when I've been asked to describe how things have been with my life in terms of how I've conquered adversity, that sort of thing. But I haven't really talked about it online like I am now. This is literally the very first time that I'm sharing my life story on here. And the reason why I wanted to do that is to just get to know, just to enable you to get to know me as a person, as a starting point for my getting to know you. Because all of you who are watching this, something has brought you to this page and something brought you to this video, whatever that might happen to be. And I'm just really grateful that as busy as you are and with all the things going on, you just stopped to watch this. So I'm really appreciative. So what I wanted to do is to tell you more about me and about what has gotten me to wherever I am in my life at this point. And the reason why I wanted to do that is just so that you can get to know me as a person, and so you'd see I'm just a regular guy, but a guy who has extraordinary dreams. And to give you more of a background, I was born 2 months premature, and as the result, because of complications at birth, I ended up becoming blind. I have what's called retinopathy of prematurity. So in my particular case, I have no vision in my left eye and less than 5% vision in my right eye at most. And so that's why I these days use a cane. And that alone is a story. But what ended up happening was when I was growing up, life was pretty tough. There were kids who would just make fun of me, and they would say, "How many fingers am I holding up?" And then they they would run away. Or there'd be other times when a kid would trip me in the hallway, and they'd say, "Ha, I didn't see that, did ya?" And it was really tough. And then whenever I would cry about it, because I was a really sensitive kid, the other kids would just say, "What are you going to do, Oli? Are you going to just tell? Are you going to be a tattletale and tell everybody?" And that was what the kid word was when I was growing up, when you were somebody who told the teacher on somebody. And so on top of being excluded and feeling excluded, I just felt like, gosh, why would I want to even tell the teacher? Because it's going to be even worse, because then I'm going to be a tattletale, and then they're going to like me even less. Not that they like me at all, but that's pretty much how my days were. And on top of that, because of my limited vision, they didn't teach me Braille, and they had me use large print. But it was early. It was okay in the earlier grades, but around fourth grade or so, it got really tough because the words got smaller, because there was more text and there weren't, as many pictures as there used to be like in earlier grades. And so with all the strain that I had, literally almost every day I would go home and I'd take gosh, it would be any number of hours just to get my homework done, more than other kids, because I had to strain so much, and it was really frequent that I'd get headaches, and that was just the way things were. And my mom and dad are amazing. They really gave me a lot of encouragement, and just they listened to what the school district said about how, well, hey, he can see just a little bit, so why does he need to learn Braille, that sort of thing. And so that's how things started. They just said, well, just have him work hard. And so I did. I was expected to get good grades, and I was expected to do all right. And but all the while, I just had such difficulty, and I had low self-esteem, because of just thinking, gosh, is this really what my life is going to be? I just have to strain. I'm stressed out about having to get good grades all the time. Plus, it takes me longer to do things, and because it took me so long to get my homework done, I didn't really have much of a time spending with friends or anything, because I didn't really have very many friends, except for maybe those who were also blind or visually impaired who were at my school. And so that was pretty much my life. And when I was in fifth grade, there was this guy named Dale, and I don't know if he ever should come across this or if he should ever remember me, as I never knew his last name. So Dale, if you're out there, buddy, I really want you to find me, because I just want to reconnect with you again. But what ended up happening was this guy named Dale, he actually, we just didn't hit it off very well at all at first. He said, "Get out of my way." It was just one of those things where it was kind of like a bully type situation. And he ended up, I just had a rough day, and I just felt like, gosh, I've just had enough. I've been made fun of so much, and my dad says I should learn how to stand up for myself better, that sort of thing. So I told him, hey, you know what? Don't tell me to get out of your way. You get out of my way. And so what he did is, he was in sixth grade. So he actually ended up picking me up, spinning me around, and sort of like when you spin a little kid, so that way a kid's body is parallel to the ground. So your body is basically my body was horizontal, and so as he spun me around, and there was enough momentum, because he was spinning me so fast, he let go, and then I was thrown a little bit, but I wasn't hurt too bad, but my pride was hurt, because here I was feeling like, hey, here I am trying to stand up for myself like my dad said, and it's just tough. And so what ended up happening after that, my two friends, Donna and Robert, who are friends of mine, who are also, they actually were visually impaired. They at the end of the day, they said, "Oh, Dale is there," and they said, "Well, let's just go the other way." He said, "Actually, no, I'm not going to go the other way. I'm going to walk up to him." And I remember my friends Donna and Robert saying, "No, Ollie, don't do that. You're gonna die." Remember when, as a kid, how the whole universe was our playground, and the whole, everything that we thought was so much based around school, and what people thought of us at school. So I just said, well, I want to walk up to him, and then so I did. He said, "What do you want?" And then Dale said, "Hey, what do you want?" And I said, "Well, hey, I'm sorry with all the stuff that happened this morning, but I don't want to be." And my voice was really shaky, and I said, "I don't want to be afraid of you for the rest of the year. Can I just be your friend?" And then so I reached out my hand and waited. So either he was going to shake my hand or he was going to deck me. But instead, he shook my hand, and we became friends. And the next thing that I knew, the most amazing, miraculous thing happened. He said, "Hey, Ollie, you know what? I know that other kids make fun of you, but if ever any of them ever makes fun of you again, you yell my name, I'll come running." And so for the first time in my life, I thought, yeah, I have power. So I then went to school the next day, and everybody started hearing about how I had this new alliance with Dale. And but the thing is that they started their usual stuff, and they started saying stuff to me or making fun of me. And the next thing I did is I called Dale's name, and he came running, and those kids scattered. And I still remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I have an ally now. This is great. But the thing that was really more exciting is that I wasn't made fun of the rest of the year. And plus, I introduced Dale to some of my friends, and it turned out that it just worked out well for us. But the big breakthrough that I had that year was realizing that no matter how tough things can get, no matter to what extent we think that there isn't any hope, there's always hope as long as we keep persisting, and as long as we find ways, either consciously or unconsciously, as long as we somehow find a way to break through all of that by persisting and by being creative with problem solving. So that's what ended up happening. So fast forward a little bit, I became student body vice president in 8th grade because I started coming out of my shell a lot more, and then eventually junior class president over a class of 500 students, and student body president over a class of a school of 2,000 kids. And by the way, they were kids without disabilities. I went to a private Catholic school in California, Bishop Amat High School. And so then what ended up happening was I went to Loyola Marymount University, And there, I majored in political science, and by that point in my life, I wanted to be a lawyer and everything. And so I got involved with a lot of extracurricular activities, and eventually, my last year became student body executive vice president and chair of the student senate, and did a lot of stuff. And it was that year when I was, well, actually a little bit backwarded a little bit. The in Between my junior and senior year, I discovered the National Federation of the Blind, and that's where I learned that blindness is not this horrible, debilitating thing that should be some big sense of source of tragedy or pain. It just doesn't have to be. Before that, with everything that had been going on, I literally tried to deny being blind. I tried to say, well, I'm not one of those people. I mean, I had this whole, without realizing it at the time, I had this whole complex thinking, well, at least I see 3%, like having this whole hierarchy thing, like the more you see, the more you can do, the less you see, the less you can do. But I learned that that is absolutely not the case. And I also learned that it's respectable to be blind. It's okay to say the word blind. It doesn't, I mean, there are times when people say, gosh, would it offend you if I said, well, what are you, sight impaired, seeing impaired, hard of seeing, optically precluded, whatever the term may be. And I say, oh no, blind is good. And so I learned that it's respectable to be blind. And I learned that I've been going all about this all wrong. That the blindness that I have is just a characteristic that's part of me. It doesn't define who I am, but it is still a part of me. But it just, with the right training and opportunity, can be reduced to just a mere characteristic, like the color of somebody's hair or how tall somebody is. Like in my case, I wish I were 3 inches taller, but but it's just a characteristic. It's not something that has to be like, oh my gosh, I hope that it's your life must be so horrible. The thing is, no matter what, whether we're blind or whether we can see or whether we have another disability or whether we don't or whatever background we might happen to have, the fact is that as long as we live, we each have the power at any instant to begin to make changes in our own lives by seeing our lives differently, by enhancing our own self-image, to realize that we have more power in our lives than we think that we have. And within each of us lies an amazing, amazing just cluster of gifts that make us who we are, that make us unique from anyone who's ever existed in the world ever, and that make us unique from anyone else who will ever be born in all generations to come in the future. That's just reality. There are a lot of us who may be alike, like with regard to the business that I'm in, and with the empowerment. How do I keep saying that? The Empower Network and the Prosperity Team. With the stuff that we do, we're all alike in the sense that we have a vision for the future. We have a lot of cool things that we love to do. We love making money. We love doing lots of stuff. But the thing is, no matter who we are, we all have an ability to succeed, and that was a breakthrough that I had. And so then next came my big move of going to law school. And law school was pretty darn rough. I actually wondered if I would actually end up doing okay. When I was done with college, it turned out great because I ended up getting some various academic awards and so forth because I did well and I did extracurricular stuff. But then when law school came, everything changed. It felt like the whole game had changed, where the biggest challenge for me was, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep up with all this reading? I mean, for any of you who are either attorneys or other professionals, or any of you who have been to law school, or remember law school, or have heard about people who've gone to law school, you'll hear, and it's all true, that law school is a very, very intense experience. I was stressed all the time because there was all this reading to do, and I somehow had to get it done. And I had to keep up, I had to find a way. And mind you, I didn't know Braille. Excuse me. I didn't know Braille, and I just had some trouble keeping up. And so I thought that this whole lawyer thing and being able to even succeed, not even at that, but just being in law school, I just thought, my gosh, you know what? This is just tough. I just don't see how I can really get this done. And so I remember that at the end of my, or toward the end of my first year, with things being so rough as they were, I remember just saying that, you know what, I think that's it. This is enough. This is it. So I, in spite of all the support and everything, I just thought, you know what, I hit my limit. So I wrote a letter to the dean of the law school, Dean Gerald McLaughlin, and he, I wrote that letter, and I just said, you know, I was going to go bring it to him and just tell him, thank you for all your support, but I am just going to have to just disenroll myself from school, because this is just too tough. I just can't do this. I need to be realistic. Other people around me were saying I need to be realistic, and you know, this stuff is just too hard, and so forth. And so I figured, yeah, I guess they're right. You know, people believed in me, but there are others who thought that, hey, I should be happy. I have a college degree, and just go off and do something else. Like, you know, I love writing, so maybe journalism might be the way, or just do freelance stuff, do something. But you know, I thought, well, I'll figure that out later. And so I was on my way to just do it, and I was so dejected, like, this is it, you know. And then Dean McLaughlin, well, I ended up coming across this guy who, he said, hi, Ollie, it's Dean McLaughlin. And I said, oh, hi, I needed to see you. And he said, well, good, I'm glad that we came across each other too, because I know that you've had a lot of trouble here at Loyola Law School. I know it's been really tough, and but you know what? We're here. We believe in you. That's why we accepted you into the school. It's hard to get in here, but we accepted you because we felt that you had the potential to do it. And as long as you stick with it long enough, you're going to do great. But you just have to stick with it. So just wanted to tell you that we believe in you. We're here for you all the way. So what did you need to see me about? So I said, oh, well, nothing. I just wanted to say thank you, and that was it. And I went off and I destroyed that letter. And for any of you who may have wondered when that was done, and who love technology, I wrote this letter back in the days of WordPerfect 5.1. It's a while ago. But so anyway, that was all done with that. And then what ended up happening from there was I eventually finished law school, and with some great support, I ended up finishing it in a way that was better than I could have expected. And then ultimately, I ended up passing the bar exam, which the time that I passed, it was the second most difficult pass rate in all of the bar exam administrations in California up to that point. So it was just so unbelievable, just such an incredible thing. And so I ended up becoming a lawyer, and I ended up being general counsel and director of programs for the American Association of People with Disabilities, and then I ended up going into government after that, and that also includes time at the White House working for the President of the United States. And so it was just amazing that from the time that I went through all of the struggle and going through all of this adversity and wondering if I would even make it, and having all that trouble in law school, to eventually rising to the highest levels in government, where I literally had ended up getting to spend time with the president in the Oval Office. Just was so surreal to me. And over my lifetime thus far, I just feel like I keep continuing to grow, but yet it's just the beginning. With all the things that I've done in my life and the things that I'm grateful to have gotten to do, it's just barely scratching the surface. There's the job that I do with my day job, and with passion that I have for advancing equality of opportunity for persons with disabilities. I also believe in equality for all, and that continues to be a passion of mine. And these days, in addition to that, I'm also I have a high internet presence because not only because of my past jobs of what I used to do, but also because I love marketing, and these days I'm building through the Empower Network as part of the prosperity team. I'm just building this remarkable business, and it's been really a lot of fun. And I feel like, hey, no matter who we are, we all have struggles. Every single one of us has struggles, and it can be very tempting at times, and we may even give in to the temptation at times to let life do things to us, in the sense that we feel like we're sort of victims of circumstance, and where we just wonder if we're really ever going to make it in life. But the reality is, like I said earlier, that we have the ability to change our paradigms and to change our own self-image by doing whatever we can to just realize that when we surround ourselves with people who believe in us and who believe in our success and who believe that we can take our lives to the next level, that is how we can truly proceed forward. And a brief warning though, there are those who may be well-meaning in your life, who may be in a situations, who may know of your life situations, who may end up saying, hey, you should be realistic, with whatever your goals may happen to be. You want to make X amount of money? Well, how can you really do that? You need to be realistic. Or you want to do this career? Well, you should be realistic as to what it really takes. Be very careful when it comes to people telling you to be, quote, realistic. Because when it comes to being realistic, what's realistic anyway? What's realistic is all dependent upon how we each see ourselves. Imagine people thought, and they really did think this, that it was unrealistic for me as a blind guy to be an attorney. But I sit here now as a licensed attorney. There are people in your life who might say it's not realistic for you to expect to be free of a job and to make all kinds of money, and to work for yourself and to do things, or to just even make a supplementary income if you want to keep your job. Whatever it is, if you have a goal that you're passionate about, don't allow people to fill your mind with disempowering beliefs. If you take away anything from learning about me and my own story, the thing that I just challenge all of you to do is to realize that we are all sources of inspiration for one another. Do not ever discount the value of your life and what you've been through. If you've been through struggle, you've been through heartache, you've tried business after business and you wonder if anything could ever work, or you've tried working on your career and you're stuck, or you just feel like, my gosh, with everything I've done in my life, is this all there is? I'm here to tell you that whatever you have in life, whatever your level is at, whatever level you're at now, whatever you have is not all there is. There's always a new level. There's always more. Whether you're struggling right now, let's just say you're struggling right now. I'm here to tell you, from having been through intense struggle, that I'll tell you more about as I get to know you personally, but I've been through such intense struggle that it's just unbelievable. It's just, but you know what? We've all had our own individual struggles. And if you are listening to this and you have struggled in your life and you've wanted to make that breakthrough, you're at the right place. And I want to be the one to help you with taking life to the next level, with whatever that might happen to be. If you've been successful and you really have enjoyed a lot of success, then I'd love to have the opportunity to work with you too, because that means that in light of your track record, this can add to that track record. Do you ever notice that no matter how far we come in life, there's always more that we want? It's not because we're greedy, it's because we have in ourselves the genetic disposition toward growth and being alive and wanting to grow and wanting to improve. And there's this thing by Tony Robbins in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, where he talks about this concept of constant and never-ending improvement. Kanai, he says for short. And constant and never-ending improvement means that no matter who we are, we have the opportunity each day to just grow just a little bit. Just a little bit every day. And then we do that, and we do it consistently, and we learn from our mistakes, and we embrace failure. And what I mean by embrace failure is as I learned from the 5 habits of effective thinking, which is a book I recommend. I actually met one of the authors. The thing that I have learned from that is that it's important for all of us to realize that failure is a part of life, but failure is part of what we do in the process for succeeding. The reason why I point that out is because a lot of us, including me, in the past, I was afraid to fail, and so there were certain things that I wouldn't do because I wouldn't be getting it right. And the way it felt like, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. I tried it, it didn't work, or I tried whatever it is, whether it's a hobby or a new skill we wanted to achieve, or a business we wanted to go into, or whatever we want to do with expanding our lives and our professions within our respective careers, whatever it happens to be. So often people worry about failure, but the fact is that through taking action and through having failed, that means that we now can make course corrections so that we can learn from those mistakes. And as we learn from those mistakes, we're better and better prepared for the next challenge. And then we keep repeating the process. We keep modifying our approach. We keep finding pleasure in the achievement of having learned something new, as well as finding the best nuggets of gold that we can find through any mistakes that we've made. We are going to make mistakes. We need to understand that making mistakes is part of how we succeed. And so we have to really understand that. And the moment I got that, wow, I just felt like, my gosh, now the sky is the limit with whatever I want to do. And for that matter, whatever you want to do in life, the sky is absolutely the limit. So if you failed of doing stuff in the past, well, you know what? This is your chance to succeed. If you've had struggle and you've wondered whether you can make it in life, hey, today is the chance for you to proceed forward. Whatever your past may have been, this is your day to shine, and this is the moment right now that you can take this opportunity to say, you know what? With everything that may have happened in the past, good and bad, that I am ready to move my life to the next level. And the way I do that is to take action. Dave Sharp and Dave Wood are the leaders of the Empower Network, and within those two, they each have amazing strengths, and we love those guys. And Dave Wood has said in one of our training materials that when it comes to moving forward, we can't turn a ship that isn't moving. A ship has to move in order to make course corrections. In the very same way, if we decide if we end up being in paralysis, in the sense that we end up paralyzing ourselves in terms of our moving forward and we just don't take action, that decision or that feeling that we can't take action is itself a decision not to take action. So in other words, we make decisions all the time. If we think that we can't do something, or we just don't take action to do something because we're afraid we're going to fail, that's a decision. But what if you were to say right now that with whatever has happened in the past, I'm deciding right now, what if you say to yourselves, I'm deciding right now to take action by doing something different within the course of my life. And I don't mean later, I mean literally right now. Imagine that. Our ability to control the circumstances around us is rather limited. There are things that happen that are circumstances beyond our control. But what we can control is our reaction to those things. So please, with whatever you've been through in life, if you take away anything from this, please know that life and its many opportunities are right here for you. I want to be here for you. I'd love for you to join with us and to be with a group of people, thousands and thousands of people, that will believe in you more than you can ever possibly imagine. And especially when you come to our next event, if you decide to come with me and join with me on all this and join the prosperity team and as part of the Empower Network and come to our next event, or if you just become friends with me, whatever it happens to be, you know, whatever we all do together, surround yourselves with amazing, amazing, positive people who love you for who you are and who believe in you personally and who know from their own life experience that at the moment when we decide to make changes for in our lives, that when we join with others who are eager to do the same, and when we come together in the synergy that we do, that amazing, amazing things happen in our lives. We just have to keep persisting. We just have to keep pursuing it with the right attitude, and we have to surround ourselves with the quality people who believe in us, and we have to move out of our lives those who tend to be negative and who may bring us down, however unintentionally. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you've actually lasted this long and watched this entire video, I congratulate you because it actually shows that you already are someone who has a level of persistence, because these YouTube videos aren't always very short. Sometimes they can be pretty darn long. But I'm just really appreciative that you've stayed this long to watch all of this. And I'm just excited to get to know you personally. We are a community of people online, but we also get to see each other in person. And so, yes, we build our businesses online through the internet, and we collectively, we make a lot of money. And, you know, any individual income is, of course, based on personal effort, and no one can guarantee anything. But the fact is that we all do with our lives as much as we can, and we believe in each other, and we'd love for you to come with us. So thank you for taking the time to get to know me. Contact me on Facebook. My name on there is Ollie, Ollie, Cantos, C-A-N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, O-S. So you can find me on Facebook. If you're watching this video and you've come across it on YouTube randomly, I'd like to invite you to go to visionary-team.com, visionary-team.com. Go to visionary-team.com and provide me with your email address, and then it'll be great for us to stay in touch with each other. And I'm just so excited that you're watching this, and just all the amazing things that we are to do together. So live life with passion, everybody, and I look forward to getting to spend time with all of you, and God bless you all.
Button help. List 2000 button. Delete button. Edit button. Email button. Send in. Publish button. App button. Minimize. Button close. Button open Microsoft Live Cam. Button open Live Cam folder. Button stop video capture.